All right, so you're prepping for a cosmetics production machine operator interview.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
That's awesome.
We're diving into RoleCatcher's resources to help you walk into that interview feeling confident and ready.
Yes. It's amazing how much they pack in here.
I know, right?
Career guides, sample interview questions,
Real.
even AI-powered feedback.
It's like a whole prep team, just like in your pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get to the nitty-gritty of those interview questions, let's paint a picture of the role itself.
Okay.
What exactly does a cosmetics production machine operator do?
Yeah, what do they do day to day?
Day to day.
Well, they're the ones who make sure those fascinating machines that create everything from lipstick to lotion are humming along smoothly.
Okay.
So think setup, operation, troubleshooting.
Got it.
They're really the heart of the production line.
They are.
Yeah.
And this RoleCatcher Career Guide even highlights some potential career paths for this role.
Absolutely.
You can move into production management or specialize in quality control.
You can.
Really cool options to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely.
As you're interviewing.
For sure.
Now let's dive into some of those interview questions that tend to trip people up.
Right.
First up, can you explain your experience with operating cosmetics production machines?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated if you haven't worked specifically with, say, a lipstick filling machine before.
Right.
This is where you showcase transferable skills.
Okay.
Have you worked with other types of machinery?
Got it.
Focus on your adaptability and your eagerness to learn new equipment.
Okay.
Those are valuable traits.
So even if your experience is with industrial mixers or packaging equipment, you can connect those skills to this role.
Absolutely.
Now, what about follow-up questions?
Oh, yeah. They're going to dig deeper.
I bet they will.
They're going to ask, what was the most complex machine you operated, and what challenges did you face? So this is where you show off your problem-solving chops.
Right.
Think about a time a machine threw you a curveball and how you tackled it.
Okay, so walk me through how you'd structure your answer to a question like that.
So you want to paint a picture of the situation.
Okay.
Really highlighting the complexity of the machine or the challenge you faced.
Okay.
Then explain your troubleshooting process, the steps you took, and the outcome.
Got it.
Did you have to consult manuals? Did you collaborate with others?
Okay.
Show them that you're resourceful and that you can think on your feet.
And speaking of resources, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions.
Really?
And tell you exactly what skills this specific employer is looking for.
Wow.
That's a game changer for tailoring your responses.
For sure.
Okay, on to question 2.
Okay.
How do you ensure the quality of the cosmetics produced meets company standards?
Oh, that's all about attention to detail.
Yeah.
A must-have in this industry. So talk about your experience with quality control procedures. Have you ever had to inspect products for defects?
Okay.
Did you have a system for double-checking measurements?
Okay.
Paint a picture of your meticulous nature and commitment to producing top-notch work.
And they'll likely have follow-up questions here too, right?
Definitely. They might ask, can you give me an example of a time you identified a quality issue?
Okay.
And what steps you took to resolve it?
Got it.
This is where you demonstrate initiative.
Okay.
Think of a time you spotted a problem and took charge.
Yeah.
What steps did you take and what was the outcome?
Okay.
Did you save the day by preventing a batch of faulty products from reaching consumers?
Okay, let's tackle question 3.
All right.
How do you troubleshoot and resolve machine malfunctions?
Nobody wants a production line to come to a screeching halt.
No, we do not.
So this question is testing your ability to stay calm under pressure and find solutions quickly.
Makes sense.
Think of a time a machine acted up on you.
Okay.
How did you diagnose the problem? What steps did you take and what was the result?
Yep.
Did you consult manuals, use diagnostic tools, or collaborate with your team?
Okay.
Show them you're a problem solver who can handle those high-pressure situations.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI feedback comes in handy.
Really?
You can actually practice your answer out loud, and the AI will analyze your response, giving you tips on clarity, conciseness.
Wow.
Even your tone of voice.
That's amazing.
It's like having an interview coach in your pocket.
It is.
Okay, back to the questions.
All right.
This next one is crucial. Can you describe your experience with handling and disposing of hazardous materials?
Oh, safety is paramount in this industry.
So how should someone approach this question?
Be specific. Mention any safety training you've received for handling hazardous materials, like a HAZMAT certification.
Okay.
Describe the procedures you followed in previous roles.
Okay.
Did you wear protective gear? Did you follow strict disposal guidelines?
Got it.
The key is to demonstrate that you understand the importance of safety and have a track record of following procedures.
Okay, so you've nailed the safety protocols, but what if they ask, what steps would you take to ensure a safe working environment for yourself and your colleagues?
Now they're looking for leadership and a proactive approach.
Okay.
Explain how you prioritize safety, not just by following the rules, but by being vigilant.
Okay.
Have you ever implemented a new safety measure?
Okay.
Or encouraged a teammate to wear their gear correctly?
Okay.
Sharing those examples shows you take safety seriously.
That's great advice. Let's move on to question 5.
Okay.
How do you prioritize tasks when multiple machines or production lines are running simultaneously?
Oh, talk about a juggling act.
Yeah.
They want to see that you can stay organized and calm under pressure.
Right.
Think of a time you had to juggle multiple responsibilities in a fast-paced environment.
Okay.
Did you have to prioritize an urgent task?
Right.
How did you keep everything running smoothly?
Got it.
Share an anecdote that highlights your organizational skills and ability to handle stress.
I'm guessing there will be a follow-up question like,
For sure.
what tools or techniques do you use to stay organized and manage your workload effectively?
This is where you mention any systems you use.
Okay.
Whether it's a task management app, a color-coded to-do list, or even a trusty planner.
Right.
Show them you have a system for staying on top of things.
And don't forget, you can use RoleCatcher's AI to get feedback on your answers for this question too.
Absolutely.
It can even suggest stronger wording or examples to make your response even more impactful.
It's amazing.
That AI is seriously amazing.
It is.
It's like having a personal editor for your interview responses.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to tackle a few more questions? Before we wrap up part 1.
Bring it on. Welcome back to our deep dive into acing that cosmetics production machine operator interview.
Yeah, in part 1, we covered some common questions.
Yeah.
And give you a taste of what interviewers are looking for.
We did.
But now,
we know.
Let's dig even deeper
into
those tricky follow-up questions.
Absolutely.
I love how you called them tricky because that's exactly what they feel like sometimes.
Tricky.
But with the right preparation,
Yeah.
we can take the trickiness out of it.
Exactly.
So let's revisit that first question.
Okay.
About experience operating cosmetics production machines.
Okay.
You remember the potential follow-up we discussed?
Uh-huh.
What was the most complex machine you operated, and what challenges did you face?
Oh, this is where storytelling meets technical know-how.
Yeah.
You want to pick a machine that really showcases your skills. Maybe one with intricate sensors or multiple stages.
Okay.
Or one that was known for being a bit temperamental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So paint a picture for our listener on what kind of machine
Okay.
would make a good example here.
So imagine you're talking about a high-speed lipstick filling machine.
Okay.
You could say something like, in my previous role, I was responsible for operating a multi-station lipstick filling machine. It had a delicate filling mechanism, and even slight variations in product viscosity or air bubbles could impact the consistency of the fill level.
Okay, so you've set the scene.
Right.
Complex machine, high stakes.
Right.
What kind of challenges would you highlight?
You could talk about troubleshooting those variations in fill level.
Okay.
Maybe you had to make fine adjustments to air pressure, tinker with the filling speed, constantly check for wear and tear on the nozzles.
Got it.
Show them you are on top of those details, using your knowledge of the machine to keep things running smoothly.
And what about when those adjustments weren't enough?
Oh, that's where you demonstrate your resourcefulness.
Okay.
You could say if those adjustments didn't solve the problem, I'd consult the manufacturer's manual, sometimes even collaborating with the maintenance team to really dig deep and find a solution.
So you're highlighting your technical knowledge, problem-solving skills,
Yes.
and even your ability to work with a team.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's hitting all the right notes.
It does.
Now let's revisit the quality control question.
Oh, okay.
Can you give an example of a time you identified a quality issue and what steps you took to resolve it?
Remember, they're looking for that eagle eye, that commitment to excellence.
Okay.
Think of a time you spotted a problem that others might have missed.
Okay.
Maybe an inconsistency in color, a slight flaw in packaging, or a variation in texture.
Give our listener a concrete example.
Okay.
What would that sound like?
You could say, at my last company, I was doing a final inspection of eyeshadow palettes before they were packaged.
Okay.
I noticed that one batch had a subtle color variation across the different shades. Not everyone would have caught it, but I knew it wasn't right.
Okay, you've raised the flag.
I have.
Now, how do you show them you're a problem solver?
Okay, you could continue. I stopped the packaging line right away and alerted my supervisor.
Okay.
We reviewed the batch records, traced this issue back to the pigment mixing stage, and I worked with the production team to make the necessary adjustment. Then I personally inspected every single pallet from that batch to make sure only those that met our quality standards were shipped.
That's a perfect example
Yeah.
of taking ownership and going the extra mile to ensure quality.
Yeah.
You've shown them you're not just an operator, you're a quality advocate.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to question 3 about troubleshooting machine malfunctions.
All right.
We talked about the initial response.
Right.
But what about that follow-up?
Okay.
What's your process for identifying the root cause of a problem?
They want to see your thought process, your analytical skills.
Yeah.
It's like being a detective.
So walk us through your investigation.
First, I gather all the information I can.
Okay.
I observe the machine, what's it doing, I check for error messages or warning lights.
Right.
Then I turn to my resources.
Okay.
The manufacturer's manual troubleshooting guides anything that can give me clues.
Love that detective analogy.
It is.
So you're not just randomly pushing buttons.
Right.
You're gathering evidence.
Exactly. And if the problem isn't immediately obvious, I start eliminating possibilities.
Okay.
Is it electrical, mechanical? A sensor issue.
Cool.
I test different components, document my observations, and look for patterns.
Got it.
And if I hit a wall, I know when to call for backup,
Okay.
consulting with more experienced technicians or contacting the manufacturer.
And this is a great place to weave in some career insights.
Oh, yeah.
The RoleCatcher Guide mentions that those troubleshooting skills are highly valuable for advancement.
They are.
You could become a lead operator, a maintenance technician, even move into quality control.
You can.
All roles where that analytical mindset is critical.
For sure.
Great point. Those skills can really open doors.
They do.
Now let's revisit the question about handling hazardous materials.
Okay.
Remember the follow-up.
Uh-huh.
What steps would you take to ensure a safe working environment
Yeah.
for yourself and your colleagues?
This one is all about taking safety seriously for
Yes.
yourself and for everyone around you.
So what specific steps
Okay.
would you highlight?
Start by emphasizing your personal commitment to safety procedures.
Okay.
You could say, I always make sure I understand the safety protocols for each machine and substance I'm working with, and I never cut corners.
So you're demonstrating that you know the rules
Yes.
and follow them diligently,
I do.
right? And then you can go beyond the basics.
Absolutely.
Mention things like, I'm also really proactive about keeping my work area clean and organized
Yes.
because spills or clutter can create hazards. I double-check labels on containers, make sure I'm using the correct PPE, and I'm always mindful of my surroundings.
It's like you're creating a culture of safety.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It is.
But what about those times when a colleague might not be on the same page?
Right.
What if they ask, what would you do if you saw someone not following safety procedures?
That's where you show them you're a leader.
Okay.
You could say, I wouldn't hesitate to speak up, but I'd do it respectfully. I'd remind them of the importance of the procedures, maybe even offer to refresh their memory if they seem unsure.
Okay.
And if the behavior continued, I'd definitely report it to a supervisor.
Okay.
Safety is everyone's responsibility.
And I love how you emphasize respect.
Uh-huh.
It's not about being a safety enforcer.
Right?
It's about looking out for your team.
Exactly.
Now let's tackle that question about prioritizing tasks when multiple machines are running.
Okay.
What tools or techniques do you use to stay organized and manage your workload effectively?
This is where you get to show off your organizational superpowers.
Yes.
Think about the systems that help you stay on top of things.
Okay.
Do you use a task management app, a color-coded system, a whiteboard to visualize tasks, or even a good old-fashioned planner?
Let's give our listener an example.
Okay.
How would you weave those systems into your answer?
You could say something like, in my last role, I managed multiple production lines at once. To keep track of everything, I used a whiteboard to map out production targets, deadlines, and any potential bottlenecks.
Okay.
I also relied on a task management app on my phone for checklists, reminders, and prioritizing urgent tasks.
That's a great combination of visual aids and tech tools.
It is.
A system for any style.
Yeah.
And speaking of tools, don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI feedback feature.
Absolutely.
It can analyze your answers for this question, suggest stronger wording or examples, and even help you identify any areas where you might be rambling or losing focus.
It's like having a personal coach guiding you toward the most impactful response.
Now, before we dive into the last batch of questions, let's take a quick detour to revisit
Okay.
how RoleCatcher can take your interview prep
Uh-huh.
to the next level.
To the next level.
Okay, so we talked about how the AI can analyze job descriptions
Right.
and provide feedback on your answers.
Right.
But what else can it do?
It goes even deeper than that. RoleCatcher can actually help you tailor your resume and cover letter to perfectly match the specific requirements of the job you're applying for.
So no more generic resumes.
Yeah.
This is about creating a laser-focused application
Yes.
that grabs the hiring manager's attention.
That's it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a personal recruiter analyzing the job market for you
Uh-huh.
and crafting your application materials.
Yeah.
And the best part is,
Best part.
it takes all the guesswork out of the process.
Yes, it does.
All right, ready to jump back into those interview questions?
Absolutely. Let's finish strong.
Welcome back for the final part of our cosmetics production machine operator interview prep deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a ton of ground.
I know, right?
From understanding the role to tackling those tricky questions.
But now it's all about fine-tuning.
Yeah.
And that extra boost of confidence.
Yeah, it's like we built this incredible machine.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's time to make sure it runs perfectly in that interview.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's start with those all-important first impressions.
Okay.
What can our listener do to make a great first impression
Uh-huh.
the moment they walk in the door?
Well, professionalism is key.
Okay.
Make sure your outfit says, I take this seriously.
Right.
Business casual is usually a good bet.
All right.
And being on time, even a few minutes early, shows you respect their time.
Yeah. Those seem basic, but they really do set the tone.
They do.
Now, what about once the interview is underway?
Okay.
How can our listener really shine in that conversation?
Enthusiasm goes a long way.
Okay.
Maintain good eye contact, smile, and try to relax.
Okay.
They want to see your personality and that you'd be a good fit to the team.
Right.
And don't just answer their questions.
Okay.
Ask thoughtful questions of your own.
I love that it shows you're engaged and curious.
It does.
Any tips for what kind of questions to ask?
Oh, think about things that genuinely interest you about the role or the company.
Oh.
You could ask about opportunities for growth, the company's approach to sustainability, or even what the interviewer enjoys most about working there.
Those are great.
Yeah,
It really turns the interview into more of a dialogue.
it does.
Now let's talk about nerves.
Yeah.
Everyone gets them.
Everyone.
Any advice for our listener on how to manage those pre-interview jitters?
Oh, preparation is your superpower.
Okay.
Practice those answers until they feel natural.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can be a huge help with that.
Yeah.
And remember, even seasoned pros get nervous.
Yeah.
Take some deep breaths, remind yourself how far you've come, and focus on showcasing your skills and passion.
I love that reminder.
Yeah.
It's about showcasing, not proving yourself.
Right.
Now, one last potentially tricky topic.
Okay.
Salary expectations.
Oh!
Any guidance on navigating that conversation?
Do your research.
Okay.
Websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com can give you a sense of typical salaries for this role in your area.
Okay.
When they ask about your expectations, give them a range rather than a specific number.
Got it.
That leaves room for negotiation and shows you're flexible.
That's a smart strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. We're almost at the finish line of this deep dive.
We are.
Any final thoughts for our listener
Uh-huh.
on how to stand out as a top candidate?
Think about what makes you uniquely qualified.
Okay.
Do you have experience with a specific type of cosmetics production machine?
Okay.
Are you passionate about sustainability in manufacturing?
Okay.
Have you taken extra courses or gotten certifications related to good manufacturing practices?
Uh-huh.
Highlight those things that set you apart.
Those are great points. And always remember, continuous learning is key in any field,
It is.
but especially in one that's as innovative as the cosmetics industry.
Right.
So what emerging trends or technologies could impact the future of cosmetics production? Keep asking those questions, stay curious, and you'll be well positioned for success.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive
It does.
into prepping for a cosmetics production machine operator interview.
Yeah.
We've explored the role questions, tackled tough questions, and given you strategies for shining in that interview.
We have.
Remember, confidence and preparation are your allies.
They are.
Lean on the resources that RoleCatcher provides. Practice those answers
Uh-huh.
and go in there ready to impress.
You got this.
You got this. Good luck.